Hello everybody, and welcome to Wounded Healer Tarot. My name is James, and today I'm going to be doing a general reading. I'm going to get 2 cards from this Fairies Oracle deck for the fairy energy that you are currently embodying. And then I'm going to do your general 9-card tarot spread. I'm going to further clarify with a different tarot deck, and then at the end I'm going to grab you 3 cards for some advice. Alright, so let's get started, shall we? Alright, so first we have card number 18, the Lady of the Harvest. Well, actually, let me put that right there. Alright. Our Lady of the Harvest is card number 18. Alright, the Lady of the Harvest. Completion, grief, loss, harvest, release. After we've experienced the nurturing and fulfillment of the bright mother, the Lady of the Harvest, also called the Old Woman or Crone, helps us to let go of what is finished and liberate ourselves to move on to the next phase of our activities and relationships. As in the natural world, the old becomes compost for new growth in our lives. The Lady helps us to adapt to change and release. Often we associate the Lady of the Harvest with loss, regret, and grief, and often we are right to do so. The basic phases of grief are shock/denial, anger/guilt, emotional storm, acceptance, regaining of perspective, the beginning of healing, and the deepening of our capacity for love. The Lady of the Harvest understands grief and is patient and kind as we go through the sometimes painful process of letting go. We may well need to be patient and kind with ourselves. We should note here that the grieving process is the same for little losses and large ones. Only the time scale and the intensity of the emotions vary, but they vary enormously. We might go through all the grieving stages of a small loss in a few minutes, while it may take years for a greater loss. On the other side of this letting go business, there are many things that make us lighter and happier when we release them. Old traumas, tasks, or stages in our lives that we are glad to have finished, unhappy relationships, or feelings that cause us pain and inhibit our growth. Sometimes we simply comfortably finish with one aspect of our lives and move on to the next, and move on to the next happily anticipated one. Words, what are they today? Such releases are cause for celebration, and the old woman joyfully celebrates with us. In this card, we see both the patient acceptance of loss and the joyful celebration of liberation. When we liberate something in ourselves or in the world, we grow to be more like the Lady of the Harvest, developing her capacities within us. It is time to accept change, to move on to the next phase. Power and strength in the present and future come from releasing the past. This is a time of liberation, and we might as well cooperate with it. It will happen, whether we want it to or not. Release and liberation may be painful or joyful, depending on the circumstances. Cry if you need to. Be joyful if that is appropriate. But in either case, trust the process, acknowledge what you feel, and prepare to move on. Well, that was quite a message there. So I'm very curious to see what else shows up here once we hit that tarot spread. But you've definitely, if this is for you, you're somebody who's gone through a recent loss and you're moving through the stages of grief. I almost said Greece. What? It's in a sense, it's like a completion here of a cycle in which, you're being asked to feel the things, right? Feel the feelings, move through them, release, and then you will receive your harvest. You will become this newer version of yourself, a wiser, more informed, experienced version of yourself. Right, so next we have card number 2. Ecstasis. I don't know exactly how that is pronounced, but here you are. Little blue ghosty thing. Alright, so card number 2, ecstasis. Ecstasy, joy, rapture, motivation. Now that is something that I like to see after our previous card here. Alright. Ecstasis is the song, the energy and power that fills unity. There is nothing else but that song. No voice to sing, no ears to hear, just the infinite and eternal song, the energy of which completely fills eternity and infinity. This rhapsodic song of bliss is what powers the cosmos and what gives it order and harmony. It is the song that holds the atoms together, the stars in their places, the galaxies in theirs. It keeps our hearts beating, and it is the love and trust that flows through them. In unity, there is nothing but the song, the outpouring of undifferentiated energy, the power felt in a mystical experience. The void, so often spoken of in spiritual literature, is not empty, but full. So full that there is no space between one singing and the next. There is nowhere to stand outside of unity and look at it, marveling. At the level of this world's reality, and fairies as well, we have the sensory illusion that you and I are separate, that we are not directly connected, that what happens when a finger is lifted on a small planet circling the farthest star in the most distant galaxy does not affect us. We need this illusion because at this stage of our evolution, we are not ready to be aware of the full song in more than very short bursts, if even that. The singers are capable of this, but we are not. At least we are not yet able to do this. It may take a while for us to get there, but that is where we are headed, knowingly or unknowingly. Our ears are too small to hear this song. Only our souls are big enough. The song rings through everything. The wind in the trees, the radiance of distant stars, the beat of a mouse's heart, the rumble of a digestive system, the quiet gurgle of a plant's capillaries, the deep, unheard hum of Earth. Scientists have recently discovered a hitherto unheard part of Earth's song, which is very deep and very slow. Some of them think it may be caused by changing atmospheric pressure, like a gentle, slow patting on a drum. Excuse me. Of course, changes in the atmosphere come primarily from changes in the solar wind and radiation. So, in essence, we see that Earth Mother is being gently patted, caressed by Father Sun, and she purrs and hums in response, as do we, her children. Everything is linked. Everything is part of the one song, the ecstasis. Ecstasy is something people seek. It feels better than good. It feels, well, ecstatic. We experience it in tiny bursts and in bigger surges. It enables us to recognize the sacred nature of our own being as an experienced fact, not merely a theory or article of faith. Ecstasy is not something we can make within ourselves, but something that flows through us when we open ourselves to it. It fills us with power and with the motivation to grow, to become what we have the positive potential of being, and to fulfill our purpose in being here and now on this planet. When we are feeling these urges of joy, or rather these surges of joy, we are empowered, and we know that we are on an appropriate track for us. The track that leads to greater meaning and fulfillment in our lives. This card in a reading says, among other things, go for it. It confirms that we are on course, moving in a good direction, and that we are in harmony with the great song. It says great joy and great accomplishment are within your reach. Its song also lights up and empowers the cards around it, healing the past, intensifying the moment, enlightening the future. I mean, I don't know if there is a better card in this deck to have after one. Speaking of such loss and moving through something like grief, I feel like, this card is essentially speaking to you finding a new appreciation for life after what you've been through. Finding a new, lust for life as the energy of the new you really just fills you and expands, and, it motivates you to keep moving forward. And again, this card also speaks of going in the right direction. So, I mean, that is just further confirmation that what you are doing here is really right on track. All right. Now for the tarot portion. Let's see what the collective needs to know at this time. Alright. Let's see. Alright, so at the bottom of the deck here, we have Judgment, Justice, well, okay, first let's just talk about Judgment and Justice. So there are 3 more cards and they're not all gonna fit in here at once. So, alright, here with Judgment and Justice, right, there's definitely a sort of reevaluation here of your life and where you're going, right? What path you're following here. I feel like, after this loss here that you experienced, whatever that might be, that kind of caused you to take another look at your life, right? What you're doing, where you're going, who you're giving your time and your energy to, what you're giving your time and your energy to. And, I get the vibe that you're really picking up on karmic situations when it comes to people. And I feel like that could be a part of this loss that you've gone through, this grief that you're experiencing, because somebody does not need to pass in order for you to grieve them. We can grieve people who are still living, because what it is we're grieving is the loss of that connection, right? It's not exactly the loss of that person's life, it's the loss of the connection that you two had, or the loss of the connection that you thought you two had, right? So, moving forward from here, we have the Ace of Wands. Come on, let's focus. Ace of Wands. We have the Ace of Wands, the Four of Pentacles, and the Five of Cups. Now, there may be, like, how do I put this? It's like, after you go through the judgment, injustice energy, right? Then you're filled with this, like, abundance of energy. And it's like it's like how I was talking about, like, a new lust for life, right? Like, I feel like this Ace of Wands is exactly that. You're really filled with all this new energy, new prospects, new ideas, going towards new adventures here. It's a lot of new and a lot of excitement. And with this Four of Pentacles, I get that you've really been, like, holding them back a lot. Maybe even sitting on a few ideas. Because here, followed by this Five of Cups, that is the card of disappointment. That is a card of, grieving a loss and not realizing the things that you still have. Now, I definitely get that this Ace of Wands energy here is going to supersede this, loss. Alright, sorry about that. My battery died in the middle of my speaking. I don't know, what was I saying here? Alright, so basically, okay, I get that this Ace of Wands really is going to carry you through this, right? I feel like with the things, the ideas, and like things that you wanted to do with your life that you were really sitting on, I feel like those are the things that you're going to pursue here with this Ace of Wands. And, this Five of Cups, I feel like, is really speaking to you turning around and realizing the things that you do have, right? The things that you can still do. And, essentially the ability to move forward and move on. Right, now for your actual tarot spread here, we have the Princess of Pentacles. Let's see, is that going to get it to focus? Can't really tell, these cards are kind of dark. And then we have the Ten of Cups. Along with the Eight of Cups here. Now, this is very interesting. I want to say, right, that with the Page of Pentacles here, you're really, like, I want to say that you're going to be receiving, like, there's going to be some sort of communication here. You're going to get some messages, or possibly even just a singular message with an offer. And I feel like this may be, a sort of offer to maybe start off as friends. And that's something that is going to emotionally evolve here into this Ten of Cups. But in order to really get this Ten of Cups, with the Eight of Cups, there are some things that you're going to have to walk away from. There are some people, places, things that you're going to have to leave behind. And then here, we have the Empress, which I feel like is you. I feel like that's your energy, because then here we have this Ace of Pentacles. And then we have this Two of Cups. Yeah, so, I feel like taking, once you let all these things go, once you move through your loss and you accept things as they are, and you start to live for yourself, you start to do things for yourself here, right? With this Empress energy, like, you are really focusing on you. You've really been nurturing yourself, healing, taking care of yourself. And that is what brings about this seed, this Ace of Pentacles. And, the Ace of Pentacles does represent the beginning of something with potential. But that's all it is. It is merely potential. That is not a guarantee that it's going to work out the way that we want it to, or work out at all. The rest of that is up to us, right? And with all this growth that you've gone through, right, evolving up to this Empress energy right here, it makes so much sense that the next card is the Two of Cups, right? Because not only does that speak to the connection with yourself, right? It's sort of like combining your spirit self, your higher self, and your earth self, right? And I feel like during this time that you've been moving through this loss, this grief, and all of those really deep emotions, I feel like that has really changed you at the core. It's changed the way that you perceive people, the way that you perceive situations, the way that you process certain information. And I feel like you trust yourself so much more now, because again, with this Empress energy, like, I get that you're really connected with yourself, with your body, with your intuition. Like, you see the signs and synchronicities as soon as they pop up right in front of you. You now have this particular awareness, not only of self, but of those around you, of your general environment. Now, this Two of Cups can also speak to, a partnership, which would make sense up here with this Ten of Cups, but I feel like that Ten of Cups is merely something that you are moving towards, and that's going to start out looking like this Two of Cups, which is, you and an individual really coming together, and maybe even, having a, I want to say maybe like a talk of some sort about, things that you've been feeling, the things that, this other individual have been feeling. But regardless, moving forward here, we have the Seven of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups, rather. And then we have the Hierophant. And the Knight of Cups. Alright, so the thing here is, right, with the Seven of Cups, you definitely have at least a few options here, right? This individual that you're connecting with right now is not your only option. Are they the better option? Probably. Are they the most compatible option? It's possible. I mean, you're having this talk with them, you're connecting with them on that more personal level. I don't know about, exactly what's going on with these other options here, but then we have the Hierophant and the Knight of Cups. So, I mean, that's 3 cards here in this spread of an offer. The Page of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, and now we have the Knight of Cups, which speaks to specifically an emotional offering here. I mean, that can also speak to, like, possibly even an apology, depending on the situation. I don't exactly know the situation, but with the Hierophant in the middle, like, I feel like there's even talk of marriage, taking this to where, like, having a discussion on, this Seven of Cups could possibly represent the many different directions that this connection can go, and you guys, like, discussing the, like, different options that you guys have as far as, where to take this connection from here. I feel like for the both of you, right, marriage is an option. I mean, we do have that Ten of Cups right there. It's the second card in the spread. So, I mean, I did not go into this with the intentions of it being a love reading, but for whatever reason, it ended up that way. Y'all and y'all energy. But now I definitely get the vibe here that, like, the loss that you're moving through, the grief that you're dealing with, could most certainly have to do with a past connection. Something that did not work out. Alright, now I'm going to further clarify here all of this energy, and then after this I will grab 3 cards for some advice. Alright, I'm not taking this to clarify any card in specific, but here we have the 3 of Wands. The 6 of Swords. Now that's beautiful with, all this loss here. It's good to see that you're going to be moving on, right? You're going to be moving forward here. And then lastly, we have the Star. Yeah, with the 3 of Wands here, I get that that there's someone or something out there for you, right? You're not giving up, you're not letting this loss that you went through really, have you in a negative mindset where you don't feel like, there's anybody out there for you. You felt like, maybe this person that you lost was your person, and because that didn't work out, you're really down, just like, yeah, I don't think there's anybody for me. That was my person, and now they're gone. So that sucks. But I feel like you're that's the mindset that you were in after it happened. But I feel like at this point, right, you're moving on because now you see that, as you moved through all of the emotions, as you moved through the process of grief, you realize that there is more out there for you, whether it's in the form of a person or, a new hobby, a new business venture, or just in general a new life adventure. There's something out there for you, and you just have to wait and see here what's going to happen. And with that, you're moving on. And with the star, you're healing. You could even possibly end up pursuing something that will make you a star, or put you in the place, in a position to really become popular. Yeah, because here with the Page of Wands, okay, new adventures, new beginnings, passionate new beginnings, passionate new adventures. Alright, so to further clarify this Princess of Pentacles, we have the Five of Swords. Now, I definitely get that, this offer that you receive, it can very well ruffle some feathers, especially of those around you. I feel like maybe there will be some jealousy, jealousy of your happiness. Maybe the person that you end up with, the person that you get this offer from, maybe there's someone that have a lot of people who want them. And that can cause these people to get a little wild with their words. Right, now to further clarify the Ten of Cups, we have the Page of Cups. Now, this could speak to receiving an apology. So, it's definitely possible that this individual coming forward with this offer could be somebody from your past, somebody that you either had a past thing with that didn't really quite get up off the ground, or an ex. But, I see this person coming forward with an apology, and with this Ten of Cups, right, you guys working on moving things forward. Working, maybe you guys had all these plans, a house, the car, the pets, family, right? Maybe you guys had these plans before, and when you separated, obviously those were things that were put out of your mind, but now that this person is coming back, those things are again a possibility. And it all starts with this apology. Alright, now to further clarify the Eight of Cups, we have the World. Yeah, you see, I feel like, walking away from whoever you walked away from, I feel like that, sort of ended a cycle of you just giving to other people despite how it affected you. Despite what you had to lose in order to make things work with this other person. And I feel like you're over that now. You're not doing that anymore. That's why you ended things with them. And now, I feel like this new cycle is what's really opening up the potential, the possibility with this past person, leaving room for them to come in and show, that they've done the work. They understand what went wrong, why it went wrong, and, they want to fix things. And they want to know if you would like to fix things too. And it looks like you kind of do. But yeah, walking away from this, from the last person, you walked away from, that created a whole new cycle because now you're doing things for you. This next chapter is all about you. Alright, so now to further clarify the Empress here, we have the Two of Cups. Alright. Yeah, you see, I feel like this is, as I just said, right, this next cycle is all about you. This here, you're really focusing on yourself, nurturing yourself, healing yourself. You could even be doing things like maybe you're starting a new diet to help you, be more healthy, take better care of your body, better care of your mind. You could be starting like a new workout routine. You could even have like a new daily schedule to where you're fixing your sleep schedule, which again will benefit both your mind and your body greatly. I feel like you're doing a lot of things to better yourself, to bring you closer to yourself. And that will also, in turn, really, like when you do things that benefit yourself, these things also benefit whatever relationship or connection you're involved in. Excuse me. Alright, to further clarify this Ace of Pentacles here, we have the Three of Cups. Yeah, you see, I feel like this offer here is going to really be a sort of cause for celebration, right? And it doesn't have to be like a huge celebration, right? It could be something as simple as just, getting a few friends together, your close circle, your significant other, and really, letting the people that matter to you both the most know what's going on between you two, and that things are more serious now and you're working on moving forward together. And now to further clarify the Two of Cups here, we have the Knight of Pentacles. I definitely get that this coming back together, right, this reunion, reconnection, it was inevitable, right? But it was something that you might have let go for a while because it was taking so long, because things were moving so slowly. And now that the both of you seem to be in a better place, it's like this is the time for the two of you to come together and really, work on things. Because sometimes, you really, there's work, inner work, emotional work that you have to do on your own. There's, not all work on the self can be done or should be done with another individual. Relationships are where we really learn and grow a lot, but we also have to learn and grow on our own so that we can bring that to the connection. Alright, now to further clarify this Seven of Cups, we have Temperance. So, interesting. With that, right, I get that having all these choices, right, really requires you to practice discernment. And I feel like it's sort of like a learning process in a sense, because here you're really moving through a lot of heavy energy here. And it's like you really had to transmute a lot of negativity into positivity. You really had to, deal with in a lot of things internally that required balance. And making the right choice here when it comes to, the individual that you really let into your life like that, that is what either, throws you off balance or brings further balance into your life. That's why, your decision in life partner is very important, Speaking of, to further clarify, the Hierophant. We have the 4 freaking wands, man. If I can get this to focus. We have the 4 of wands. So, I don't know what else says marriage more than this card combination here. I feel like when you guys come together, right, and get engaged, get married, you live that life, I feel like you guys are going to have rather so much stability together, right? I feel like this is only possible because you guys starting over, with a clean slate, you started building a more firm foundation for this relationship to stand on, so you guys could be friends first for a while. And that's why maybe things take a little bit here to really come along. Because, it can be easy to just jump right into emotions first, right? Or jump into things rather emotions first, right? But that's not generally the wisest decision, because the basis of any relationship is friendship. If you don't have that close friendship, that friendship connection, like being best friends, something like a relationship may further down the line not exactly work out too well. Because you don't have that base of connection. Feelings are great and all, but they're not going to really, at the end of the day, I'm not going to say they don't matter much when it comes to a connection, but they play a very small role. Having these emotions is the easy part, but, working on a true connection, building that friendship, that basis for the rest of this connection, right? That's something that's really gonna carry this through. Now, lastly, to further clarify this Knight of Cups, we have the 6 of Wands. So, there is definitely going to be victory and success here with this offer, this connection, right? I feel like this is something that the two of you are really going to work on here. I feel like in the past there was, you guys could have been quite guarded towards each other, even though you had these deep emotions. And I feel like, communication is something that you guys really needed to work on here. That's something that you really needed to learn in this time apart. Alright. Now, lastly, we have some advice. Alright. Excuse me. Stop trying to carry the world on your shoulders. Now, I'm not going to put this as a part of this spread because it just popped out, but I feel like that's something that, you needed to hear, something that you need to really, take into account here, because, independence is fine and dandy, but it can also get to a very toxic side to where, that just puts a lot more on you. That just makes it more difficult for you to really work together with somebody if you're feeling like you always need to do things on your own. If you feel like, you need to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. I feel like something here you might be learning with this individual and this connection is, being able to share responsibilities, delegate responsibilities to make both of your lives easier. Oop, that's a whole handful, not doing that. Alright, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Alright. Remember that you can't change anyone but yourself. Yeah, you see, I get the vibe that in past connections, right, you may have really felt like this, whoever, you're with at the time, you might feel like, maybe they need to change to help this to work better. Maybe you were focusing too much on what your person needed to do and not what you needed to do in order to change. And I feel like you're being asked to focus on you, because we all have things that we need to change, and relationships really bring that out for us, because again, our relationships are where we grow the most, or rather that's, there's something that help us grow the most. Take responsibility for your choices. This is your life to live. Own it. Yeah, I get a lot here about accountability, right? I get a lot about really evaluating the choices that you've made in the past, but not in a sense of rumination, but just so that you can avoid making those same mistakes, so you can learn, right, from these past situations. Stop trying to carry the world on your shoulders just came out again. That was twice. One. Gosh, that was intense. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Stop pushing against what is, align with it, and move on. Yeah, you can't force connections. You can't force things to grow. You can't force yourself to move on. You have to sit with things. You have to experience things in order to understand them. And then after that, after you gain that knowledge, that insight, then you can move on. This life is not a race. We all have our own timeline. Now at the bottom of the deck we have, when you find something that excites you, go all in and enjoy the ride. Yeah, for me that's that Ace of Wands energy right there, that shit. Fire. Alright, collective, this is the message that I have for you today, or rather these are the messages that I have for you today, and I do hope they serve you well. Be gentle with yourselves. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye now.